Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christy, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy. So I am just so blessed that I am having the opportunity to meet people. So yesterday's guest that aired yesterday is a pretty cool lady. And I met her randomly because Matt DeBlasi, who I interviewed a few weeks back, is in business with her and her optometry agency office, whatever you call that. And she listened to the podcast and she was like, oh my gosh, this sounds cool. And so she reached out to me via LinkedIn. How cool is that? So now I've made a new friend, one that we had a heck of a lot in common. We were even reading all the same books, which was super interesting. Afterwards, we stopped and we were both reading The Gap and the Gain, and we're both reading Year of Yes, and all these things that just were pretty cool coinciding things. I'm saying that because we're humans. We're supposed to be connected, and Productive Joy is a space to do just that. So my hope with you in this space is that you are starting to recognize that, you know what, there's something in this for me. And no, you're not all optometrists, but this woman took her optometry practice and decided that she was going to go bigger. And she has created her own technology company that she is now selling to practices. That's pretty awesome. And, I mentioned we had a couple things in common. We were both cheerleaders in college, although she did it for a much bigger school than I did. But she also recognizes the value of a good connection and the value and importance of being who you are and recognizing that it's okay to be in this space, even if you don't know what you're doing. One of the things that she said that I really appreciated is that you should stay naive. And you should be naive first, and then you should stay naive. And what she meant when she said that wasn't that you should be ignorant. It's that you should stay curious. Like I think of Ted Lasso and his whole stay curious idea. And that to me is what Dr. Rhue was saying, is that we should stay curious, that we should recognize that we don't have all the answers and that that's not a bad thing. And that we're learning in this space. So I didn't know her very well before I interviewed her. And what was cool is I said, okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself. And she said, I'm having an identity crisis. That was her first statement. How many of us are having an identity crisis right now? Big as life. And we're not 100% sure how things are supposed to go or what they're supposed to look like. Or maybe you're struggling because you changed jobs or you need to change jobs or whatever the case. Look, it isn't a bad thing to be having an identity crisis. It's a bad thing to live in it all the time and to not do anything about it. So my challenge to you today is to figure out how to do something about those identity crises, to ask questions, to stay curious, to look for answers in places that you might not have gone. So her episode is titled Getting Out of the Dark, because if you think about what an optometrist does, they turn the lights off and then they say, would you like, which is better, 1 or 2? 1 or 2? And she said, I know I can count higher than 2. And so I am so excited to say that she got out of the dark. What are you in the dark on today? What's keeping you from getting out of it? Because the light is just on the other side of the door. You just have to open the door. And maybe that door feels very locked. So maybe you need to open a window. I don't know. I don't know which of those is true for you, but I do know that there's light outside that door. And I do know that the light is shining really brightly and that you should stop sitting in the dark. So that's my Productive Joy little tidbit of wisdom for you today. I don't know if you're following this podcast yet or not, but I'm very hopeful that you will. I'm hopeful that you'll share it. That is the most valuable way that this information can get out into the world. And I am just begging you, please share it with one friend who needs to know that it is okay to open the door and get out into the light. Today is a good day to have a good day, my friends. And so my challenge to you today is to figure out a space where you can turn fun into action.